Coming up, we will be on location at Modern Smiles Dental in Rockville, Maryland, discussing the benefits of dentistry and how it can help restore your dental health and give you the beautiful smile you've always desired with one of this region's top dentists, Dr. Ali Forghani. Dr. Forghani received his DDS degree from New York University College of Dentistry and is widely recognized as one of this area's top dentists. Welcome, Dr. Forghani. It's a pleasure having you on the Top Doctors Medical Interview Program.
Thank you for having me.
It's your first time, in fact, and we have a lot to talk about. We have a patient that's going to be coming up a bit later as well. Not to mention we get to see you do a Botox treatment on a patient as well. So on that note, I wanted to begin, if I may, Doctor, by asking you if you can please tell us what some of the benefits of dentistry are.
Well, dentistry in general is overall health. The mouth is the opening to the body. So the overall benefits of dentistry is that it helps with the overall health of the individual. The healthier the teeth are, the healthier the overall body is. There's different types of bacteria in the mouth that, if they aren't taken care of, they can cause other health conditions, such as strokes or even heart attacks. And
that's very interesting, Doctor, that you said that, because a lot of people don't realize that dental health can affect our overall health, including in those very severe arenas as well. Now, what are some of the more common dental problems that you see here at your practice, Doctor, from patients?
Well, depending on the patient, most patients that come in regularly just usually come in for routine checkups and cleanings and such. But patients that are a little bit more intimidated by the dentist usually come in when there's an emergency needed. And then in those situations, root canals and crowns may be the necessary treatment for them. So it all kind of depends on the person.
Okay, based on each individual and his or her needs, right?
Correct.
And now you obviously have a very strong reputation, not only in patient care and being one of this region's top dentists, but you really specialize as well in cosmetic dentistry, smile makeovers, enhancing our smile, giving us the new look that we desire, or in many cases bringing us back to that beautiful look we had before our teeth got aged and stained and everything else that makes us look a lot older. Can you tell us a little bit more about those areas within your practice?
Well, dentistry has changed over the years quite a bit, making things a lot more aesthetic and a lot more easy for patients to do. The biggest advance are, well, they're not advanced, but they've been around for a while, are veneers. Veneers are an easy way to change a person's entire smile. It can be done within a couple of weeks to a few weeks, rather than getting the old-fashioned orthodontics and braces and such. Veneers are a great option for people that want to just dramatically change their smiles.
And what about smile makeovers? Is that in conjunction with veneers, or there are some additional things involved with this?
Well, depending on the person. Again, every person is a little bit different. When you talk about smile makeover, it can range from anything from bleaching to movement of the teeth like Invisalign or orthodontic work, or veneers, which are the most common ways of dramatically changing within a short period of time.
And there's so many folks that can benefit from these treatments, and certainly one of the advances that I have noticed looking at a lot of patients, speaking with them, and not to mention talking with you off camera, and I'd like you to elaborate a little bit on camera regarding this, is the fact that you can now match the shades of the veneers to one's shades that we already have at this point of our lives, as opposed to making us have that smile that looks fake. This makes it look a lot more natural.
Right. And a lot of that depends on the treatment of the dentist. Normally the way that I would approach it with a patient is to initially discuss what their expectations are. If it's too far-fetched, I will let them know that and keep them back grounded. But most of the time, what I normally suggest on a smile makeover is initially to do some bleaching to get a nice white as the person can get, and then from there do the matching. So in that respect, there's a lot of labs out there that are able to match the colors almost exactly. And that's what we try to do. We try to make it look as natural as possible.
Now, how are these cosmetic treatments performed?
Well, depending again on the patient, there's a couple of ways to approach it. When doing a smile makeover, initially, like I said, I usually do the bleaching option first, where I get everything a uniform shape, and then depending on how much reduction I need to do in the teeth, I would do some drilling, oftentimes you don't have to do any reduction because over time people's teeth start to deteriorate, start to get spaces, and start to break apart a bit. And in those cases we do what's called no prep veneers, where we just place a piece of porcelain pretty much right on top and cement it permanently on.
Oh my goodness, almost like a snap-on smile.
Exactly.
So to speak.
But more permanent.
That's a big difference right there.
Right.
Now, what kind of results, Doctor, can the patients expect from these treatments? What are they looking at?
Depending on what the patient is expecting. A lot of times people that want to do the smile makeovers want a dramatic change. And that is more than likely what they will receive. And we like to always let them know what they're getting themselves into prior to actually going through with it from start to finish, in terms of any complications, any residual pain, or anything that might come up after the veneers are placed. Prior to finishing the veneers, I always ask the lab to send me a picture of what the veneers will look like in wax form, and I sit down with the patient, discuss whether or not we should change anything prior to them completely fabricating the veneers.
We're now going to meet Marilyn, who's a patient of Dr. Forghani. Welcome, Marilyn. It's a pleasure having you on our program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I wanted to begin, Marilyn, by asking you if you can please tell us what brought you to Modern Smiles Dental here.
Sure. Well, I had looked at a couple of recent photos of myself, and I realized that my smile just had completely lost all of its appeal. I was starting to feel very self-conscious. I felt like my teeth were really kind of yellowing.
Oh, so you just didn't like what you were seeing?
I just didn't like the smile that was looking back at me.
So then you came here to Dr. Forghani, and how did you hear of him?
You know, I found him on the internet.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I searched cosmetic dentistry and his name popped up, and I thought, you know what? This sounds like a lovely practice. I think I'll give him a call.
So then what happened, Marilyn, once you got here?
Well, it was a positive experience from start to finish. So I came in, and of course my first impression was, oh my goodness, what a beautiful office. It's clean, it's modern, they have every modern convenience. Of course I met Dr. Forghani and I thought, oh my goodness, he's professional, he's caring, he's just such a great personality. I felt comfortable right away.
And you know, coming to a dentist is one of the biggest fears that most people have out there, and it's very important that a person chooses the right dental practice to come to, the right dentist, and for the reasons that you just stated, somebody you trust, somebody you're comfortable with, and you certainly saw that once you came here.
Yes, he and the entire staff put me at ease right away.
And what did you have done that helped you with your smile?
I had some veneers on my upper teeth.
Oh, and how long did that take?
You know, it took a lot less time than I thought it would. It was actually done in, I think, 3 or 4 visits.
That's it?
That was it.
And on average, what would you say, how long each visit took?
Well, 2 of the visits were a couple of hours as we prepped the teeth, and then of course applying the veneers, but I can tell you that, you know, I was comfortable the whole time. Any pain was treated right away without any discomfort whatsoever, and the TV was on. I was offered beverages. You know, it was really a boutique kind of experience. From start to finish.
That's wonderful. So it's a dental spa, basically, isn't it?
It really was. Yeah.
It's certainly different than it was years ago when people thought of going to a dentist, how things have changed, right?
How things have changed, absolutely.
Now, obviously, I take it you're very pleased with the results?
200% pleased with the results. People who haven't seen me over the summer say, oh my goodness, something is very different about you. You look younger.
That's
Is that
wonderful.
a compliment?
That is the highest compliment. And lastly, before I let you go, Marilyn, for all the folks out there that are watching that want to enhance their smile, feel comfortable with the dentist, what would you tell them about not only Dr. Forghani, but the whole staff here?
Well, I would say don't hesitate to call and make an appointment. You know, I promise you, you will be thrilled with the results.
Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you for joining us, being a guest on our program, and certainly you have your confidence back and you're a very happy person.
Totally, and thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure. We're now back with the doctor. I must say Marilyn was very happy with the results.
Yes, she was one of the patients that really wanted a dramatic change in her life. She came to me looking for something different, and she definitely got what she wanted. And again, during that time, we actually coordinated everything together. Her transformation took about 2 weeks total, from start to finish, and every part of the way I was with her to make sure that she was comfortable and knowing what she's getting herself into.
Now, how long do these results typically last? And again, I'm sure that varies based on each particular patient, but in general, what is somebody looking at from these cosmetic results?
As long as the patient is pretty religious about coming to the dentist, cleanings, and all that good stuff, you know, they could last a lifetime, depending on the person. Now, we always go over hygiene instructions with the patients once they're placed in to make sure they understand how important it is to maintain everything so that we don't have to go through this again.
Now, are there any follow-up visits required after the treatments have been completed, like every 6 months, or can you tell us about that?
Well, normally when I place veneers specifically, I always have a week follow-up where I bring the patient back and we sit down and have a small consultation. We discuss anything that they have questions about just in general. As well, we bring them back every 6 months just for a normal cleaning and to make sure that they're maintaining properly.
Now, your dental practice here in Rockville, Maryland, Modern Smiles, is really like a spa, doctor. I mean, it's gorgeous. It really is. It's state-of-the-art. The colors are so tranquil and soothing. It's certainly different than years ago when I used to go. You know, most of us went to dentists many years ago, because you look at things now, especially your practice, you feel so comfortable here. It's like I said, it's really a spa-like atmosphere. And I wanted to ask you on that note that I understand you also offer some additional services beyond you know, general dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, that can also help people look younger and feel better.
Well, we do offer quite a few different things. We're doctors of the entire head and neck, so we do concentrate on that. And when it comes to aesthetics, we're not limited. The biggest thing that most patients benefit from us is to do Botox. You know, one-stop shop. They come to get their smiles done as well as get some Botox done, just to rejuvenate, to make things look fresh again.
Now, we're literally out of time, but I wanted to ask you, before I let you go, Dr. Forghani, you and your practice, Modern Smiles, here in Rockville, Maryland, have certainly established a reputation for excellence in patients' care. And I just wanted to ask you, what would you say helps separate you from many of the other practices in this region?
Well, we're very, very concerned with our patients and their comfort. We always try to make sure that they are comfortable in the environment. The dental office is a scary place. Nobody wants to be in the dental office. Nobody likes the dentist. So what we try to do is make them feel as comfortable and reassured as possible, as well as educate them on anything that they might have questions about. Because a lot of times, people just listen to the doctor and just go with it without knowing what they're getting themselves into. So prior to that, I like to give them a real expectation about what to expect from start to finish. Even if it is a little bit painful, even if it is a little bit uneasy, I always want them to be informed and comfortable prior to doing any procedures.
Yeah, so because it really is, when you think about it, a partnership between a patient and a doctor when a patient chooses a particular practice, not just in dentistry, but in all fields within the medical arena. And it's very important that both the doctor and the patient are in sync and are on the same page when it comes to what's involved, what kind of results are realistic, and so on and so forth moving forward. And you certainly have a great reputation in that area as well.
Thank you very much.
And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Forghani, for joining us, being a guest on our Top Doctors Medical Interview Program. We'd love to have you back on in the future.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you.